Okay, so let's begin. Oh, I need to screen share. Okay. Okay. Oh. My photo always pops up. I need to press. So last week's home practice was the body scan, which I hope people have found the time to do. If you are struggling to find the time, you can always go back to any of the other practices. So there was the 3-minute breathing space. If that's all that you have available to you, then by all means, just going back to that and taking 3 minutes for yourself every day at some point within your day. The idea is to do this regularly. And this builds up the neural pathways over time. So it's not necessarily the amount of time. If 10 minutes is just too much, exploring that, why possibly there isn't 10 minutes, or perhaps if there's something that you could be changing within your day to give yourself that gift of those 10 minutes, or scaling it back and doing a 3-part breathing space in 1 minute is simply enough to build up that habit and to build up that resource for yourself. Of course, do get in contact if there's anything I can be doing to support you a little bit more in finding that time for yourself. So we're on week 3, exploring mindfulness for well-being on this Mindful Monday. And today we're going to be exploring thoughts are not facts. So we're going to a little bit of the theory, and then of course the key to it all is in the practice. So as always, we've got half an hour of time. We move through a teaching, and there'll perhaps be some space for any questions and queries if you've got any before we move into the practice. So this is going to be a mindfulness of breath, body and thoughts. So you can do this sitting or lying as you wish, making sure that you're going to be comfortable and that you're warm, that you've switched off notifications, that you can have this time undisturbed. You've taken this break from your day. So honor that time that you've given yourself. Then I'll let you know what the home practice is, and then we can move into a reflective space to talk about how you found the practice, or a time to perhaps write me an email and let me know how you're finding the time for those of you practicing outside. So thoughts are not facts. How many times do we find our minds jumping to a conclusion which ends up with us descending into a negative mood? When this happens, we can check where our head was at the time, and using mindfulness of thoughts, we can become aware of why those thoughts spiraled into negativity so quickly. By putting some space between ourselves and our reaction, we can change our relationship to our thoughts, merely watching them go and come and go instead of treating them as an actual fact. So by using intentional directed focus and paying close attention to the now, we become aware of intrusive thoughts, allowing for changes, thought patterns. So by paying more attention to the present moment, we can lower our stress hormones. And when these chemicals in our bodies decrease, we become less anxious, and we can better incorporate innovative ideas and new ways of thinking about our experiences. Mindfulness changes how we process incoming signals from the environment and helps to desensitize our reactions to them. If we practice mindfulness regularly, eventually our amygdala will calm, and we will no longer have the same stress response to triggers. So that sort of automatic reaction that sometimes we fall into, that kind of maybe an explosive shouting or something, or blaming others. Like, I don't know, for example, if I can't find my keys, that immediate thing of, has my daughter taken them away? We can stop and drop into that, and perhaps remember that we changed our bag. So it's going to be in the other bag or in the coat pocket, whatever. Just that pause between our response and then our reaction. So again, coming back to this practicing regularly, by engaging in mindfulness regularly, so we've got this session once a week, and then the invitation to a home practice, one, we become aware, particularly of the human tendency to quickly judge our everyday experiences and respond with negative, unhelpful patterns of thinking. We can notice it. We don't necessarily need to change anything. Simply by noticing it can be enough of a spark for change. That's the mindfulness, it's the noticing. 2, moving towards acceptance. So combining this awareness with acceptance of experience provides a wider, calmer perspective of stressful situations, allowing us to move away from negative emotions before they take hold. And that noticing. 3, we can improve fatigue, stress, anxiety, and sleep quality. So studies have shown that meditating regularly helps improve all of the above. It lowers heart rate and levels of the stress hormones cortisol, and ups sensations of relaxation and well-being. And then 4, it's long lasting. So regular practice of mindfulness meditation is shown to have long lasting effects as it changes the structure of the brain itself. So, mindfulness of thoughts. During this exercise, you will pay close attention to physical sensations throughout your body when you observe your thoughts. The goal isn't to change or relax your body, but instead to notice and become aware of it. So we're expanding on the techniques that we've been doing. And I've pictured a waterfall. And the idea is that when we're observing our thoughts, when we get to this bit of the practice, I'll ease you in gently, don't worry. This picture of that we can stand behind the waterfall of our thoughts. So the waterfall sort of represents the thoughts as they pass by. Now in mindfulness, we can step back from it and observe it from behind it, where our everyday is where we stick our heads right in, we get cold and we get wet, and we fully physically experiencing these thoughts. So that's just an analogy that perhaps you might find useful within the practice. So I thought I'd add that picture in. My friend took it at the weekend and I asked if I could borrow it. And I said, this would be perfect for my session on Monday. Do you mind? So yeah, so there's a waterfall and standing behind it. There aren't as many images as of the front of them. Okay, so let's move into the practice. So now I just need to make sure that this is on me, the video. Okay. So let's arrive. Taking your seat or lying down, being comfortable and cozy, but not too comfortable that you fall asleep. And of course, if you're keeping your eyes open for this practice, which you're more than welcome to do, you are more than welcome to look at the candle rather than my face. If you've got a candle of your own or some incense, an invitation to light that, or maybe have that ready for next week, to sort of have that sense of you retreating, creating a cozy, safe space for yourself. As always, we'll begin and end the practice with a bell. And taking a moment to arrive in your body. And checking in that you're not holding any tension. Scanning your body from your head to your toes. And releasing any tension that you find along the way. Hot spots include the forehead, the jaw, the shoulders, and the belly. If you have a habit of holding that belly in, let it go. Undo that top button of your trousers. That helps. We want to create space for ourselves. You've created this time. You've carved out this time for yourself. Now create space for your body to be comfortable and as free from tension as is possible. How are you? taking an internal weather report, the sensations, feelings, what's here right now. And as best you can, dropping into the felt sensation within your body of those sensations. How are you, and what exactly is that? Where is it? Does it have a shape, a color, a temperature, a texture? Is it light or heavy? Is it in one part of the body or all over? Do the sensations move? Bringing an open and kind welcome to your experience of what you find, that we don't need to change anything. We can simply be with ourselves as we are right now. Now an invitation to narrow your attention to your breath. Not changing the rhythm in any way, simply breathing in and breathing out. That's noticing the coolness of the air. Maybe it feels warm. Where do you feel the breath most vividly in your body? Is it at the nostrils? Is it at the belly? In the ribs? And if the breath doesn't feel like somewhere that you want to be today, finding somewhere neutral within your body that you can bring your attention to act as an anchor within the practice. That at any point within the practice, you can bring your attention here. When your mind has wandered, got lost in the stories, you can gently and kindly and firmly bring yourself back to the present moment as we cultivate this skill of mindfulness, being in the now. That neutral point within your body or your breath will always be there to anchor you in the present moment and bring you back. When your mind is doing what minds do, wandering off. Your breath in this moment. And this breath. And this moment. And now from the breath, I invite you to expand your awareness to include all of your body as you breathe here. Where do you begin and end? The air against your skin, the points of contact that you're making with the earth, the fabric of your clothes. And as we sit with our breath in our bodies, sensations may arise that are distracting. They might be unpleasant, and they might be pleasant. But knowing that you've got a few options of how to be with these sensations or difficulties as they arise. You can move, weaving the movements into the practice, making them a part of the meditation. They don't need to be separate. You can bring your awareness to how you make the movements or the adjustments. You can rest in the felt sensation of having made those movements, of having scratched that itch or adjusted your posture. Mindfulness of movement, weaving it into your practice, not judging yourself or criticizing yourself, making it a part of your practice. And then resting in the felt sensation of having made that movement. Perhaps noticing relief, perhaps noticing disappointment. Perhaps the sensations are back, even though you've made those movements. As best you can, allowing your experience to be as it is. You don't need to change anything. In this moment, we're resting in the felt sensations of our bodies and what it is to be here and be within them. Without judgment, being impartial witnesses to ourselves. Returning to stillness when you're ready. Another option is to explore the sensations, to notice where they begin, where they end. You don't need to go right into the center of the sensation. You can rest around the edges, noticing if it's a constant experience or if it moves. Does it have a temperature? Is it hot or cold? Being interested and curious, observing it. Does it have a temperature? Does it have a shape? A texture? That curiosity and interest, that kind of childlike manner that we can explore ourselves. Being interested, taking the time to notice and explore what and where the sensation is. Moving away from the story and dropping into your body. And then thirdly, there's the option of the breath, of using the breath as we do in the body scan to breathe around or into the sensation, perhaps giving a sense of spaciousness, perhaps not, being playful and curious. Picturing breathing in whatever way or analogy works for you. It might be a soft blow like fogging up a window, maybe more furious breath, like blowing out a candle. Breathing around or into the sensation. And then returning to your breath and your body at any moment, knowing that you've got those three options, that you can move, that you can explore the sensations, being interested in it, or breathing, using the breath. And of course, you've got that anchor that you can return to at any point. You've got choices. And now an invitation to move your attention away from your breath and your body to your experience of thoughts. Observing your thoughts as thoughts. Going, perhaps picturing that waterfall that you're standing behind, noticing how the thoughts arrive, pass by. As best you can, not getting lost in the story, but dropping into the felt sensation of the thoughts. Where do you experience thoughts within your body? You are a combination of your experiences, your genes, your environment, And that our thoughts are mental events and not facts. And we're observing them as physical experiences within our bodies as best as we can. Being patient with yourself. Being interested. Where do you experience thoughts in your body? Do they have a shape, a colour, a texture? Are they in one part of the body, or do they move? Are they in different parts? Perhaps thinking of watching a television screen of images arriving, observing. You don't need to get lost in the story. Or like clouds in the sky. Some are thin and wispy and pass by quickly. Some thoughts are heavier and darker and rest a while. The blue of the sky is always there, behind the clouds. And the breath, that neutral part of the body, is always there as an anchor to bring you back to the present moment. You get lost. The mind wanders into the story. Observing your thoughts, as mental events. Do they have a shape, a colour, a texture, a temperature? Allowing your experience to be exactly as it is. You don't need to change anything. There's no right or wrong way of doing these practices. Simply taking the time to anchor in the present moment, the felt sensations that we notice in our body. Learning to listen to them, to pay attention, to learn their language, messages that often go so ignored. Dropping into the felt sensation of your body right here, right now. And now an invitation to return your attention, narrowing it down to your breath. Simply breathing in and breathing out. And then expanding your awareness from the breath to include all of your body. And an invitation to take an internal weather report. How are you in this moment? What exactly is the felt sensation of that? Being interested, curious, and spending time with your body and what you notice right now. As we move out of the perpetual human tendency to want to hold on to the pleasant, to get rid of the unpleasant, we're exploring letting be. The impermanence. Allowing our experiences to be as they are. The Sun by Mary Oliver. Have you ever seen anything in your life more wonderful than the way the sun every evening, relaxed and easy, floats towards the horizon and into the clouds or the hills or the rumbled sea and is gone. And how it slides again out of the blackness every morning on the other side of the world like a red flower, streaming upwards on its heavenly oils, say on a morning in early summer, at its perfect imperial distance. And have you ever felt for anything such wild love? Do you think there is anywhere in any language a word billowing enough for the pleasure that fills you as the sun reaches out, as it warms you, as you stand there empty-handed? Or have you too turned from this world? Or have you too gone crazy for the power of things? So an invitation to move, stretch in whatever way feels right for you. Just going to, while you're moving, I'm going to introduce the home practice. So you guessed it, mindfulness of thought. So that will be up on the page very soon. And for those of you practicing live and with the recording later, I know there's quite a few of you, I invite you to spend a few moments either reflecting or perhaps journaling or writing about your mindfulness of thoughts, inquiry. What did you notice? What are the felt sensations you observed of your thoughts? And how did you treat yourself when you noticed your mind had wandered? Not mind had wandered. How do you treat yourself when you notice that you've wandered off? So many of our habits show up when we bring ourselves to stillness. I'm going to pause the recording, close the recording actually.